daddy was in, where were you? You were
Jamaica.
In Jamaica, was it? Mm-hmm. Okay. In Jamaica on a trip, and she could not go to sleep in her little crib until I put the globe in there, and she could put her hand on the globe where her daddy was and fall asleep thinking about her daddy. And as the other children have been added to the family, Kelsey's been like the second mom to them, and I believe what she said about the way she babysits. Thinking of kind things to do with her brothers and sisters and what a treat that is. And I think that's a rich dimension in your life that's always going to have benefits for you, dear.
Thank you, Grandma.
When Kelsey, of course, last time I had seen Kelsey, she was this little thing in a car seat in the Ryder moving truck. And then I see a little girl with a little coat and a matching hat sitting in the big girl car seat in the back when her dad came to pick me up at the airport. And this is when Jack was born. And she was very sad because she had an earache. And her daddy had taken her to the doctor and he got a prescription. So when we got back to the house and we're getting ready to feed her some supper, I said, oh, wait a minute, we have to give you your medicine before you eat. And she had been wanting to play with Mommy's medicine, and so April had taught her the sign for medicine and told her no. And so when I gave her the medicine, she made the sign for it. And I thought, oh, that's very good, and we have to take your medicine before you eat. Now, Kelsey was, how old was she then, 14 months?
15 months.
15 months old. The next morning, I started to give her breakfast. She wouldn't take anything to eat. And finally, I didn't catch on, so she finally signed medicine. Like, you're supposed to give me my medicine before I have food. And then I tried to get her dressed, and I started to put her shoes on. First of all, she told me she wanted socks, so I put her socks on. Then she wanted shoes, so she signed that. I got her shoes. I was getting the wrong shoes. So she's leading off the dressing table, looking down, trying to pick out the shoes she wants to wear that day. So at 15 months old, she was already fairly opinionated, but also putting two and two together very well, I think.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that was interesting is I'm not much of a Facebook guy, but for some reason, let's see, how was this? I think it was, we went down and Jeremy and April treated us all to eat at the big thing downtown, and they posted a picture of that on their on their Facebook
For Christmas.
and
Dickens Bunch.
and so John from I guess it's
Marblehead.
Marblehead.
John
yeah.
Putnam.
Yeah, he said something like, "Wow, Kelsey is really."
You better hide her or something.
Yeah, you better hide Kelsey. She's looking like she's going to be a real catch. And, so I thought, well, that's true, but see, he doesn't know her as well as I do, because like the project of the K, we've done a couple of other projects, and so I said, I know Kelsey, and she is I forget exactly what I said. It was something like, you don't know the half of it. She is really, I've worked with her on some projects, and she's really got a lot on the ball.
Aww.
Yeah.
The other grandpa.
All right.
Okay, 3 quickies. When you were little, you don't remember this because you were too little, but you had a saying that you didn't know how to describe things or what to call them. Yawa. So many things were yawa when you were little. The other thing is, great grandma, as far as I know, never called you Kelsey. It was always Kelsey Joy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's fun to remember.
Yes.
Speaking of joy, when I was watching the movie Inside Out, of course, who did I think of who could play Joy? Kelsey.
Aw.
Yeah, your personality, I don't think that was necessarily on here, but the main characteristic I would say about your personality is you exude joy, yeah, which is very special.
Aw.
Yeah, I was going to say the joy also. It's wonderful to have the oldest child be joyful. What a great setup for a family. So I hope that your first child is as joyful and brings so much joy as you did to your family and all of us. Thank you. We love you.
I brought a list, so let me open
Aw.
it. I did this a little, sorry, I can't hear me. Okay. I did this a little differently because I couldn't think of a favorite time with you. So I was just trying to think what? I know. There's so many times. So I started thinking of what I enjoy most about you, and it's your crafty spirit. So if I can read this, I have a list of all the things that you've done. Well, not all of the things. Okay. I can't really read this. Does anybody have, oh, there we go. Okay. You invented a purse that was so amazing that a professional asked for the pattern. You also made a pillowcase to match the colors in your room. That was amazing. Okay. And then you got help from Grandpa and you made a doll bed, thank you, out of wood. You made each of your sisters Half-Blood Camp t-shirts. You continually make videos that strike emotions in your audience that you wish them to have. I lost my place. Just a moment. And the last one I wanted to mention was that I know you have all witnessed her amazing talent for making creative cards, thank you cards, and all the other cards I can't really think of at the moment. But all of those, and I shall stop here, but I know that the list continues on and on. And I am so blessed to have such a cousin. Thank
Aw.
you.
Well, I just thought of another one. How do you turn this off?
Do you want me to do it, Dad?
There you go, thank you. I think this was a very interesting, her mother, April, our daughter, took sign language. And she had heard, and I believe this is true, that children, as they're developing, can actually, they have thought process, but they have no way of expressing them because their vocabulary hasn't, their speech hasn't developed. So she started teaching sign language to Kelsey as a little, 1 year old?
Yeah, like 15 months.
1.5-year-old, 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they were up in Marblehead, and it started snowing, and she hadn't seen snow before. So she goes to, Mommy, and says, milk. The milk is coming down. And there's a lot of things happened in Marblehead, and one of them was her Uncle Denver, our son Denver, decided to go to Marblehead and visit, and so he's knocking on the door. Nobody's there, but it's open. So he opens the door and comes in, and there's Kelsey sitting on her throne, and she decides to get up, and she says, "Wipe."
Wipe me.
Like me. And if you had any experience with a 2-year-old, there's no problem there. I mean, it's like, somebody's going to do this. And let's see, it seemed like there was one other situation up there that was really interesting. But anyway, so Kelsey is a great gal. Thank you.
Thanks, Dad.
So what I wanted to say is kind of a tie-in of what people have already said. My Annabelle, when she was little, she has grown out of this and become a beautiful young lady. But she used to be a little bit grumpy when she was little, like 2, 3 years old. And I remember, and we came and visited Marblehead, and we got a picture in front of that door, the church doors,
Yes.
if you remember that. So I can kind of remember it. And Kelsey, we've already been talking about how joyful she is and sweet. She's trying to kiss Annabelle. So they're both like 2-ish, I think it
Yeah.
was, about 2. And she's looking away and does not want to be kissed. And Kelsey's being so sweet. So what I am going to encourage you, Kelsey, is to keep being like that with people, even when they do, like, and they're maybe acting like they don't want your joyfulness, but just to persevere, because that's a beautiful thing that you can bring out in people, especially your little cousin. I will kiss you.
You freaked away again. I was scared. What you gonna do?
Out when she was a baby. She was, I always called her craziness girls. And her hair would go crazy.
There's a picture on here.
Yeah, she'd put like tomato sauce. I didn't realize how fun of a baby she was. I didn't have any other experience with any other baby. And I think I've noticed now that when parents, they like can't wait to put their kids down, and then they're like, oh, we finally got our kids down. But I would always go in like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. She'd been sleeping for 3 or 4 hours, and I'd get her back up, and I'd put her in the middle of our bed, and then April and I'd be talking, and then she'd try crawling, and I'd just push her as hard as I could, and she'd go flying, and she'd laugh and laugh and laugh. And she was so loopy and laughy, and then we just let her flop around for half an hour, and then put her back in her bed, and it was like the funnest thing ever. So that was, her joy was very real back then. Another story we've told too is, we were really worried about putting Kelsey into public school, and the biggest thing I was worried about was, is she going to really share with us, what it's like, what she's wrestling with, and so I kept on thinking about different questions to ask her. So after her first day of school, I was really worried.
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten. You'd say, "How was school?" "Fine." I didn't want that response, so I was trying to think of a question where we could really get to figure out what was going on deep inside of her. So when she came home, I said, "Okay, well, what was the scariest thing that happened to you today?" And she thought, and me and April were looking at each other like, "Oh my gosh, what happened to her?" And she says, "I think it was right in the middle of the monkey bars." So then we were like, okay, she probably had a good day. So that was really cool. And I think that really shows Kelsey's courage. That's a big part of her as well. So I got lots more, but I'll save some of those for later. More birthdays.
Different things we put Kelsey through with our education choices. She's been our guinea pig, and Jackson's been drug along a little bit with it. We started off very traditional, just sending her to the school up the street we could walk to, kindergarten through 2nd grade, super traditional. And then we just have experimented doing so many different things with homeschooling, with her grandparents schooling her, with let's just start the school year off in public school, and then knowing that we'll take her out in 6 weeks, it's like camp. She's going to public school camp.
For free.
Jeremy's like, I'm the principal, and I'm using the city's resources I think this is what she needs for 6 weeks. So Burlington Elementary probably doesn't like this very much because of that. But anyway.
Go Eagles, right, Lindsay?
Yes, so Kelsey's bravery, and then probably the one where she had to be the bravest is when we put her in 7th grade at Highlands Middle School in Fort Thomas. And every time I drive by that building, I'm just like, oh, she was so brave because we knew that we would probably pull her out. So she went in there knowing this is probably going to be weird. It wasn't just like, okay, now I'm going to school and so I need to get used to. So I feel like it took like a different type of courage than I ever had to have at that age. And so, just like, kol hakavod, good job. Like bravery, trying new things, yeah. Did you get for being born first?
That's what I get.
But some of you are like, who is this girl? But I've babysat you since you were you 3, 2?
I think she was 2.
In the apartment, right?
Yeah.
So, I have to say something, and I thought about it, and if we were going to share like a story or a memory, the one that pops out for me is the first time I babysat you. I just met Jeremy and April. Well, you called me on the phone.
Yeah.
We didn't even know each other.
We got your name from the vineyard.
So I came in and we played for a while, and you wanted to watch Shirley Temple.
Oh, yes.
You liked those. And it was animal crackers in my soup.
Yeah.
And I was like, you were sitting and you were watching it and you were loving it. And then all of a sudden you like ran out of the room. I'm like, short attention span. What's going on? Which now that I know you, that wasn't true. You went in and got 2 spoons to do like her choreography, and you sat up on the chair and you did like you knew the whole thing. And the thing, I wrote it in my thing, so this is going to be repetitive for you, but the thing is, Kelsey, you came into my life right before like those critical years of what you're just in the beginning of that, before motherhood and marriage, and I have 4 children of my own now, and I have to say, meeting you showed me that children are a blessing. You and Jackson both, and I didn't know kids like you. I didn't know parents like your parents. So you're very blessed to have them, and I hope you remember that, especially through these years. But just watching you two, and little things, like I laid you down and you went to sleep. Like, what? I didn't know kids could do that. I had been a babysitter for a while by the time I met you, and man, what a difference. You guys were just such a blessing, and it was such an encouragement to me at the time, and then I had no idea really what it meant now, just to know that children are a blessing and that they really can be a joy and pleasant to be around. And I just love watching you grow and who you've become, and I just can't wait to see what God does with the rest of your years. So keep them coming and keep remembering me. I'm so honored that you even thought to invite me. So guys, thanks for letting me share, and I just love you, Kelsey.
Thank you.
Every time, I'm gonna say this really loud. Every time, Kelsey, that was planned. Every time you get the cup of garlic and you get a spoon and you get it's not a normal like amount of garlic you put on a spoon.
Stop doing that.
Just mounds of garlic.
Stop.
Way over here. She just shoves it in her mouth, and it's disgusting. And then she tries to talk to me. It's like, no, that's disgusting. Anyways, that's all I have to say about that.
Like that sometimes. She's still a really great sister, and I've noticed lots of other persons, girls mainly, her age that don't really care much for their family or, I guess, siblings very much, but even though she's been alive for 16, I've only known her for 14. But the whole time it's been a privilege, and she's been a great sister. So.
So I've been having a hard time coming up with the one epic memory, but I feel like, Kelsey, you are a delight. And I remember lots of little things. Like when I remember the first day I met you. It was the first time I met your parents. And it was in the sanctuary at what's now Grace Fellowship in Marblehead. And I just remember you were crawling around through the aisles. And I was talking to your mom, who was hanging out with Jack. And I remember going to your first birthday party. And I remember camping in Maine, and you were this sweet little bandana, and you signed all kinds of fun things, and we all loved doting on you. And then I wrote this in the card. It's been such a privilege to see you grow up and get to witness that. And I feel like the one thing that keeps coming up is like, it's delightful. Like, you are delightful. I remember when you learned to make sandwiches, and you'd come over and you would, I'm going to do it, and you went in and you made all the peanut butter sandwiches. And I remember going to Florida with your family, and your mom and I thinking about the plan, and you came out with your list. Of course, both the dads didn't want any plan. Yeah, I just saw that picture. I remember going to the concert with you. That was really fun. And so I'm really excited about the life that has been lived, and I'm excited about what God has in store for you, because I really believe you are a delight, and He's put so much wonderful, beautiful, amazing things in you. There's that verse that says He's given you everything you need for life and godliness, and I was just thinking about that, and this part of the journey, this next season of the journey, like, I'm excited to see what new things He's going to unpack that He's already put there, and what new delight will experience. I just bless you on your 16th birthday.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Hi. I haven't hung out with Kelsey much, but the times I have, it's been awesome. And yeah, it's been awesome. She's awesome, and I'm so happy that she's turning 16 and she's gonna be able to drive and stuff. Yeah, so I've just had a lot of fun times with her, the times I have hung out with her.
Thanks, Dad.
Can I have a hug?
Okay, so I was reminded this at the zoo the other day with Tiffany, and
I wasn't there.
Yeah, Angus wasn't there, but everyone else was in her family. And Desmond, while Kelsey was going to get us some ice cream, I was reminded of how awesome she is. And so Desmond was just like, wow, your sister is awesome. And I'm like, oh yeah, she is. So yeah, I love, on the game that we played, it said what she did when our parents went out on a date, and I think 100% it was fun activities. And so she's really good at that, and I think you're awesome.
Aw, thank you.